Hey, you guys, hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here, y'all. This it's getting really wild with Kevin Federline's new book. It's about to drop tomorrow, and some excerpts are coming out, some information's coming out, and we got to talk about it because I think our first thought, when Kevin Federline, when he speaks up about Britney, the kids, when he speaks up we think, wow, like B said, his child support, must be running low or he must be needing funds. But you guys, I'm starting to believe some of this stuff. Like after following Britney over on Instagram, coming across some videos that her children released, I'm starting to think like maybe the Free Britney movement wasn't like the best idea. While because I think Britney needs somebody watching over her who can tell her, no, girlfriend, you cannot, you cannot post this video of you on social media. Like, but I also think it should have been her dad or anyone that's going to obviously steal money from her. But there's several. So this is Kevin's new book right here. You Thought You Knew, Kevin Federline, a memoir. And the Sun, TMZ, they've all released articles. We're going to read a couple of the articles that they've put out. We're also going to listen to a clip of Kevin, right? Not saying right. I absolutely be. We're also going to listen to an interview that he did with Access Hollywood in a little bit. Elle, did you read her book? It was good. I did read. I feel like I didn't read all of her book, but I did read like the majority of her book. Okay, so literally, since all this has been happening, since this, Kevin's book is about to drop, all these articles are coming out. Kevin Federline, Britney asked Justin if they were really over pre-wedding night. Kevin Federline on Britney Spears, something bad is going to happen. Ominous warning in new memoir. Kevin Federline and Britney Spears. Britney cheated with a woman. Kevin alleges in new book. Britney Spears versus Addison Rae. Yeah, we're not gonna. That has nothing to do with the book. Kevin Federline, we're all alarmed by Britney. Britney Spears ex Jason Alexander slams Kevin Federline. You're not the victim. Kevin Federline, I have no respect for Sam. A lot. That's not even. B, I think I'm gonna read a couple of these really quickly. Let's see. And Britney is kind of responding. She's making posts on her Instagram. And to be quite honest, the majority of the posts don't make sense. And I have my thoughts because as someone who now has a little bit better understanding of like mental illness and like mental health, I think Britney was medicated so long that it really has screwed her brain up. It's really screwed her up. If you go back and you look at pictures of Britney Spears back in the early days, to think what's become of her, it is extremely sad. It is so sad to look at pictures of Britney from early on, when she first came about, to watch her TikToks and see where she is today. And I really just think she was on medication for so long that it really did screw her up. And I do think that it has caused her to be scary to her kids. We're actually going to watch a video really quickly before we read some of these articles. We're going to watch, I want to share a video with y'all real quick. This is a video that the boys recorded. Britney's boys recorded this when they were at her house because they would come home after a visit and report back to their dad that, their mom did this or their mom did that. Like one reported their mom punched them. They would report that when they're asleep, they wake up to their mom standing in the doorway, watching them sleep, holding a knife. And when she realizes they're awake, she go, "Oh, you're awake," and turn around and waddle off. Excuse me? Now, I talked to a friend of mine who has a little bit of experience with mental health, who told me more than likely Britney wasn't standing there, waiting to butcher them or anything. She probably suffers from not knowing who to trust, being, mistreated. Her kids, her two boys, are probably the only people that she for years felt was really her people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have two kids, you feel like, okay, if I have nobody else in the world, these are my kids. They got my back, I got theirs. It's us that gets the world, So maybe after so many years on medication, screwed her head up, got her paranoid at night when they sleep. Maybe she stood there in their doorway to protect them, like thinking like I'm not going to let nothing bad happen to them the way bad things have happened to me. That makes a lot of sense to me. But when it first came out from the book that his kids would wake up and their mom would be standing there in the doorway with a knife, it scared the shit out of them. Hello, and rightfully so. Excuse my language, and I'm sorry but it would scare me too. So here's a video that the boys recorded, and Kevin said he ended up having to tell the boys, like, I need y'all to record this because first off, if he needed to go to the courts to get visitation restricted or something like that, he needed to have some sort of proof that there was this erratic behavior that the boys were witnessing that was not good for them. So here is a couple clips.
That I had they thought something was wrong with me because I had your boobs are poking out. You have
come in here when we're trying to go to bed, and then you just go and you
it's
say,
my house. If I forget something, then I know this is my house. If I want to come in here and give you lotion for your face because it is coarse, and all you tell me, no, it's fine, it's fine. No, it's not fine. You all better start respecting me. Are we clear?
yeah.
And when Robin calls, and you're all, even Robin's a fucking kid. She goes, what have you been doing to your kids? You all need to start treating me like a woman with worth. I am a woman, okay? Be nice to me. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Have you lost your fucking mind? Have you lost your
Now this is in the car. So that was one night. The kids wake up. Their mom, they're asleep. Their mom comes in there and is trying to put lotion on them and stuff. And yeah, so they started recording. Now here is in the vehicle. They're in the vehicle. They have a driver, whatever. I think they went to the store, and one of the boys maybe have gotten out without their shoes on or something along those lines.
mind? I do care, but I'm shocked as with you, and I don't know what to do, and I'm scared of you because you're weird, because you're going through puberty. I don't know what to say, but I do care more than you know. But don't be, my little body can't handle all of that. There's like sometimes I just don't even know what to say with you. I was in shock, and I do care.
No, you don't. If you really cared, you wouldn't take my phone away for literally.
I was in shock in the store when I looked down, and Jaden, how are you so cool about that? Your brother being with Bear's big feet, size 13 now?
Well, he's my brother.
And all the more exposed, his feet, your blood in an ice cream shop in Alaska weather. Don't you think that's a little odd?
No.
Yeah, I think your phone should be gone.
Okay.
Yeah, for a very long time.
Yeah. For not wearing shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. My phone's just gonna be taken away forever. Cause you know what, Jaden? Mom decides to take it away for me not wearing shoes.
Jaden?
That's hilarious. Jaden obviously thinks
Are
that's...
you wanting attention, baby? Is that why you're saying you
Well,
can't
apparently I wanted to do that in the first place, but you keep interrupting every sentence I say. So
You-
what I
so-
seem like in my mind, I think you just care about yourself because you won't let us speak one word, and you won't let us
Say
go
what you
anywhere
wanna
we
say.
want to go.
I want to hear what you have to say. I'm listening.
Well, I forget because you interrupt me, and then I forgot what I'm gonna say. That's
Do
how
you
I.
want to skate? Is that what you're
No, I don't know how, and I didn't want to go to that place, and we
Do you know
never agreed to it.
roller skate? I mean, ice skating, baby, is easier than roller skating.
Why are we
Roller
doing-
skating is actually harder because the grips on the ground are like raw, like rock, like that. It's smooth on ice. Ice is like smooth, like your skateboard.
Very strange. Now I will say the boys like were rude to her. Like she's your mom, even if she's like a little weird and she's saying some weird stuff, like just try to be respectful or whatever. So the boys did get a little rude with her. I don't know how much they've been dealing with her. Just I don't know, like the way she talked to them and treated them. I swear it reminds me of someone with severe mental health problems that is like stuck in like a phase of almost like a childlike phase. But here she's trying to be a mom, but she's in this like childlike phase. You know what I'm saying? So that was a clip. Teenagers, well, teenage, true story. So let's give, we're going to read some of these articles really quickly. And then I'm going to play an interview that Kevin just did the other day. Kevin Federline on Britney Spears, something bad is going to happen. ominous warning in new memoir. Now, here's the thing. You know, the after Britney had her like meltdown, after her and Kevin split and the whole, shaving the head, the meltdown, after that, she was wild and out and spiraling until she went into the conservatorship and she was obviously on medication. She was obviously medicated. She was one of the judges on that show with Simon Cowell. I can't remember the name of it. On that show, she was able to work. She was able to work. I mean, even before that show, her dad become her, it was over her, become her conservator, and she was in the conservatorship, and she went on tour. She had a Las Vegas residency, and she seemed pretty normal during this time. She's on medication, right? When I watched her on the competition show that with Simon Cowell, whatever, she seemed somewhat normal, but you could tell like somewhat, like it looked like she was on medication, to be quite honest. It looked like she was medicated, not overly medicated, but in like, like she never seemed super happy. Like even her smiles just seemed, thank you, B, X Factor. Her smiles really seemed to be very just for the show. Like it didn't really seem like she was very happy. And from what we know is she was medicated for several years. Well, whenever the conservatorship was lifted and the judge signed off on removing it, she quit taking her medication after years of being on medication. So I do feel like she was medicated and maybe it helped her be like somewhat normal. She still wasn't herself. But I feel like when that conservatorship was ended, and I'm probably not saying, I feel like I might be like, I don't know if everybody's going to have the same opinion as me, maybe, maybe not. But I only feel this way, though, is because now I have experience with mental health. Before, when I didn't have any experience with mental health, I was like, free Britney, you know what I'm saying? Now seeing Britney and like having the experience that I have with someone struggling for mental health, I see in Britney what I know is like mental health, problems, issues, illness. And I think because she's not medicated, that's why she acts the way that she does on social media. She just is very much not herself. She is like stuck in like a childlike mentality. She cannot form coherent sentences. It's almost like she's drunk all the time, when really she's not. She was on medication that probably screwed her up. And for so long, it screwed her up. And I guess it's at this point, maybe if she was medicated again, maybe she would be normal again. I don't know. But when I'm watching Kevin in this interview, and we're going to watch it in a little bit, I'm like, I get he's always been money hungry. He's like, everybody's always had that perception of him, and probably so. But at the end of the day, he does have these 2 kids. And when you are familiar with like mental health disorders and what someone not on medication can be capable of, it's a scary thought. So like, I feel like Kevin, his kids have been spending a little bit more time. One of the boys spent like a couple of days with Britney not too long ago. The other one spent like a couple of hours in the past like few years or whatever. They are trying to like rebuild, but I do think that he probably has genuine concern. Now, maybe this memoir was to help with money or whatever, but I do feel like he's got to have some genuine concern. He's raised these 2 kids. Surely he loves them. He watches Britney do the same things we watch her do. And then his kids going over there for years and coming back with these allegations of, moms wanting us to shower with her, moms wanting us, coming in the bedroom in the middle of the night, wanting to rub lotion on our faces. She's standing in our doorway with and I would hope that his boys would not let him write a book full of lies. This book is including their experience at their mom's house, what they experienced. So I would hope his boys would not allow him to write a book full of lies about their mom. Now the world is crazy, so who knows? So if these things are true, if any of these things are true, I could absolutely understand like the concern, but I would file something within the court system like, hey, my kids cannot be around their mother unless she can pass a psyche eval. I don't know, Britney Spears' ex Kevin Federline is raising concerns about her in his new memoir. He says she's not okay since her conservatorship ended and writes, the truth is this situation with Britney feels like it's racing towards something irreversible. Let me just tell you, as somebody that has, and I'm going to say this a million times, and I don't mean to like say it over and over and over and over and over, but as somebody that's dealt with it, that's how you feel. When your loved one or your family member is not on like their proper medication or not going to therapy or whatever, you really feel like, when is the other shoe going to drop? When is it going to hit the fan again? And how bad will it be this time? Because when this happens, when they have like another, breakdown, they are in danger. The people around them are potentially in danger, even if they're not a dangerous person, just because they don't, like, imagine what we see Britney, like, on social media, how we see her just kind of chaotic. And imagine if she got into a vehicle, which she's gotten pulled over several times in the past few years, but because she's Britney Spears, they let her go. I saw a video maybe like 6-8 months ago about how she had been pulled over so many times in the last like year. Speeding, like erratic driving. So I'm like, imagine the way that we see her. She has access to a vehicle where she can just jump in and go. You know what I'm saying? So while I don't, the memoir, I'm like, is this like, because if you really wanted to help in some way, you could say, Britney, the boys don't want to see you unless you undergo a psych eval and you're on the proper medication because they're scared of you. And that's just what it is. Writing a book, So it says, yeah, this is so true. The truth is, this situation with Britney feels like it's racing towards something irreversible. K-Fed got a new memoir, You Thought You Knew. You Thought You Knew, dropping next Tuesday, and he sat down for an interview with the New York Times and gave the newspaper an advance copy. In the book, he writes, something bad is going to happen if things don't change. My biggest fear is that our sons will be left holding the pieces. Britney's ex says it's become impossible to pretend everything is okay with Britney, and adds, from where I sit, the clock is ticking and we're getting close to the 11th hour. Do you think, thank you, Toaster, for the super chat. Do you think the problem is this days, if the choice between taking pills and acting responsibly? Sorry, Hope, you're not here with us. I'm not sure what you mean. Do you think the problem is this days, if the choice between taking pills or not acting responsibly? I think Britney had the wrong people in her corner who really was taking advantage of her. So now Britney is probably totally against medication, totally against anything that those people were doing to her, because she sees it as bad. She sees it as like, oh, well, the people that put me in the conservatorship, that forced me to work, that didn't allow me to do X, Y, and Z, they also forced medication down my throat. So I feel like now she's probably completely anti medication she probably needs. I feel like she's probably anti like therapy and stuff, like anything that she was going through before that she was forced to do, she probably doesn't want to do it anymore. I've heard of that happening. Kevin's memoir recounts his marriage to Britney, plus their nasty divorce and custody battle over their two sons, Sean Preston and Jaden James. And Kevin says when the boys were younger, they once told him they didn't want to go back to Britney's house because they were scared. It is scary, you guys. I don't know what Britney's diagnosis is. I don't know if that's ever become public. Not that it should, but I don't know what her diagnosis is, but it's clear there's some mental health issues going on. And just from what we can see of her on social media, it's scary. It's scary. Imagine, that being your child. Your mom. These days people are not told to act responsibly, hence why medication is the best option for most people these days, as people don't get the third option. Got you. Yeah, in one chapter, Kevin writes, thank you, Toaster, for the super chat. They would awaken sometimes at night to find her standing silently in the doorway, watching them sleep. Oh, you're awake? With a knife in her hand. Then she suddenly turned around and pad off without explanation. Like I said, I talked to somebody that I know that said more than likely she wasn't trying to hurt them, but she, just their opinion, was standing there trying to be protective of them. Kevin told the New York Times he hasn't spoken to Britney in years and says, I've never, ever once been against Britney. I've only tried to help my sons have an incredible relationship with their mother. And it's hard because when I really reflect on everything that's happened, my kids don't know the woman I married. I've spent 2 decades trying to bridge the gap. But my thing is, like, how do you bridge the gap if you're not even talking to her? Like, I guess just on that side, on one side, you're doing it. Let's see. Kevin Federline, Raw Alarm by Britney. Is this the one that we just read?
This is your holiday reminder that shoes are a gift, literally.
And we're not just doing that because we're DSW.
This year, unwrap.
Boy, these ads have gotten out of
Unwrap
control.
something
You
awesome.
can click on a link without getting one that's not.
Unwrap an excuse to stay in.
Come on,
A reason to call the
TMZ.
babysitter.
Yeah, this ad down
joy,
here. No,
Because
it's up
shoes
here.
aren't just shoes.
Wow. Okay. Can we get this off here? It's not even a skippable ad. Oh no. Come on. That's an interview with Kevin, which yeah. Kevin Federline says Britney Spears is raising tons of red flags since her conservatorship ended, and he says his sons and family are alarmed with what they are seeing from her. Britney's ex-husband joined us on TMZ Live Wednesday, and we asked him if he thought it was a mistake to end the conservatorship. Kevin says everyone in the family, including Britney's 2 sons, Sean, Preston, and Jane James, are concerned with her well-being. And he says in his new memoir, You Thought You Knew, and he says his new memoir, You Thought You Knew, is a cry for help to gain support for Britney and their kids. He has the kids. He just hasn't spoken to Britney. Well, see, the thing is like Kevin has a fine functioning civil relationship with Britney's family, but Britney does not have a fine civil functioning relationship with Britney's family. So, you know, K-Fed says folks need to read his book to truly understand his thoughts on the conservatorship. But he says the boys want their mom to be around for years to come and want a relationship with her. I feel like if Kevin was to like donate this money to charity, like mental health, some mental health charity, or give it to his kids, like put it in a trust for his kids or something like that, people would be more prone to believe him if this money was not going straight in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? Because Kevin has that label as being money hungry. That's the label that he's had for years. So if he was to say, you know what, I'm not even making a dime off this. I put my time and energy and my heart and soul into this book to bring awareness as to what we're dealing with as a family and how, you know, she was in this conservatorship and the whole Free Britney movement happened. And now she's no longer in the conservatorship. And now I have to worry about maybe one day telling my boys that their mom's no longer here because, you know, X, Y, and Z. So if that is really the way that he feels, and I do feel like he could feel that way. I really do feel like he probably feels that way. I feel like this book, though, has people thinking it's just a play for money. So if he was to say, this money is going into a trust for my kids, or, you know, I'm going to donate a percentage of it to mental health awareness or some sort of charity for mental health, then I think people would be more inclined to think, okay, he's serious. Kevin says the family's been vilified for their roles in the conservatorship, which he called a difficult situation. But he says everyone is united in wanting Britney to be happy and healthy. Speaking of red flags, we're not even going to go into this. Yeah, he walked in on Britney with one of her backup dancers, which was a female. All right, I'm going to. This is an interview he did with Access Hollywood, and the interviewer said there is an assumption you're releasing this book now because the child support ran out from Britney, and this is Kevin's response.
Really? That you want to go there right away? All right. I'd be lying if I said that.
I wish they would not have put a picture up immediately after that because I was trying to get a read on him.
That I didn't want this book to be successful. Money's not at the root of this story. It never has been. So for me, I'm doing this now. I wanted to make sure that my children were old enough to understand what I'm doing. Everything has always been about my family. And that's what people don't really realize, is that every step that I've taken has been for the benefit of my children. And my children are ready for me to tell my story.
Kevin says there's another reason he's speaking out. He says he's concerned about what he calls Britney's erratic behavior. And while they haven't spoken in years, he's heard stories from their two sons, Preston and Jaden.
I'm really worried. I'm absolutely, as a father, terrified that one day I might wake up and my sons are going to have to deal with the unimaginable.
And I want to point this out because I think this is important to think about. You know, your mom is an international superstar, pop star, one of the most famous women ever. You know what I'm saying? So you know, a lot of kids, and it's just what it is. A lot of kids want to live with that parent that can give them the best lifestyle. Kids are materialistic. They like the nicer things in life. Most of them do. That's not a bad thing. It's something we have to teach our kids not to be so focused on, but a lot of kids are. So Kevin, when him and Britney got a divorce, he was definitely not the one. He was not the rich one, okay? Not compared to Britney. Now, was he okay? Sure, but he was not like the rich one. That was Britney. So you would think these two boys, they, you know, would want to live with mom who could give them the best lifestyle, jet them off on vacation here and there, and take them here and take them there, and spoil them and do all the things for them, and you know, to go to school and be like, I'm Britney Spears' son, like my mom is at home, like she gonna pick me up, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would think like that's what they would want. So for two boys to not want to live with their mother who could give them the world because they were scared of her, not even not live with her, but not even want to visit her. He has 6 kids. To not even want to visit her because it became scary. And so much so they cut off their relationship with her. They cut off their relationship with her for years, you know? So I definitely think there is some truth to her scaring the boys, her erratic behavior being something that makes them nervous and makes them uncomfortable. And I mean, the claims that like she wanted them to take a bath with her. And let me tell you guys, like I said, I don't know what mental health issues she has, but there are certain ones to where the people just don't have like, they just, you know, it's just not something that is thought through. So like they don't think about certain things. So the kids got Britney off too, or just Kevin. The kids did. The kids went a while without seeing her. In the past like 4 years, she spent like 4 hours with one of the boys, and that was recently. And then recently, one of the other ones went and spent a couple of days with her. That's been very recent though. For a few years, they quit going. They quit going because they said they were like scared, and like they started recording her because, you know, it would get weird for them. I mean, she was like, I can't help, I'm scared of you because you're weird. You know, you're going through puberty and you're weird. So I definitely think, and I do want to point that out, parental alienation is a thing. So potentially, you know, maybe he was pushing that on them. I don't know. But just from like what I see of her on social media and the videos that they recorded of her, it would be enough for me as a child to feel uncomfortable, I think. Yeah, and I don't want to make it out like I'm painting Kevin as to some like great parent. I'm not. I'm not either. Not at all. But I definitely think there was more than enough reason for these two boys to be a little worried and a little fearful of their kid, of their mom, you know?
I kind of have to sound the alarm that I truly feel that somehow, some way, I just wish that their mom would get help. Everything in my book that I talk about, what's going on now, and I'm not going to get into details because I'm not going to just expose her personal life, but it's 10 times worse than anything that I've said in my book. The night before our wedding, we're at the Fairmont in Santa Monica in one of the bungalows. And I was like, what's wrong? I thought she was talking to her mom on the phone or something. And maybe she was like having doubts. And she told me that she was on the phone with Jessica. And I just kind of stepped back like, did I just hear you right? What the hell is going on? You know, and I would immediately, you know, was, okay, we don't have to do this. Like I didn't care if we got married or not. And she told me no. And really, was like, I just wanted to make sure that everything is done. I want to make sure that I say my final piece. I'm like, damn, on the night before our wedding, this is what you decided to do, So I kind of at the time took it with a grain of salt and took her explanation as, okay, maybe she is closing a chapter of her life.
I think she was still in love with him.
In love, I am not sure, but not over it. And I know that they really cared about each other back then.
As for Britney's take, her rep released a statement this afternoon accusing Kevin of once again profiting off Britney after her child support has come to an end, adding all she cares about are her kids. And how are Jaden and Preston doing today?
They're doing good. We've prepared them for a lot of things.
Kevin, meanwhile, is a father of 6 and has been raising his family in Hawaii for about 2 years. His memoir, You Thought You Knew, drops a week from today.
I've stayed with my mouth shut for the sake of my family. I've tried to help my sons build a relationship with their mother, and I pray to God every day that she gets the help that she needs or wakes up and realizes that you have 2 sons right there in front of you that are screaming for a life with you, the same that they have with the rest of their family. I've realized that my sons don't know the woman that I married. I really want Britney to be around for her children for a long time.
Okay, so that was just a little bit of an interview that he did with Access Hollywood. And here's the story from The Sun where he makes the claim that she punched one of their kids. And then I'm going to run over to her page to show you guys like what she's posting. And I did look up the child support really quickly too because I wanted to. And he's not getting child support anymore from my understanding. Britney Spears is no longer paying child support as her payments to Kevin Federline ended in November 2024. The final payment was made after her son Jaden turned 18 and graduated from high school, fulfilling the terms of her child support. So he hasn't received child support in almost a year. However, this is bonkers. Whew. The original amount was $20,000 per month. It was increased to $40,000 in 2018 before being settled at $20,000 per month until Jade's 18th birthday. There was a period she was paying him $40,000 a month in child support. Holy guacamole. Yeah, like if this was like, Lulu, I get what you're saying. Like if this was like, who's like a celebrity, a male celebrity that had 2 kids that the mom was taking care of? Who's somebody? Give me a name, somebody. Give me a name. Like Ben Affleck paying Jennifer Garner, $40,000 a month for their 2 children. Would anybody say anything? Would anybody say Jennifer Garner is money hungry? She sits around and she doesn't work. She's just collecting that child support check. Some people would probably still say something, while some maybe not, All right, so it says Kevin Federline claims ex-Britney Spears punched their son in the face in Bombshell memoir. I will tell you, I don't know, if this claim is true. Britney has enough money to sue him. So if it's not true, sue the pants off him. Sue the pants off him. Kevin Federline has continued to his string of shock. Kevin Federline has continued his string of shock allegations against ex-wife Britney Spears, with the dancer now claiming she punched their son in the face. He was, Michelle, he did. He lived off child support. He did little things here and there, but he did not have like a consistent job. The couple's war of words and bad blood has come to the fore with the release of teasers from his new book, You Thought You Knew, set for general sale October 21st, which is tomorrow. He has already teased many shock revelations about his relationship. The former professional dancer has used his time to, who wrote this? His time to open up about his struggles co-parenting with Britney Spears throughout her downward spiral from pop princess to troubled artist. I know he was getting like a sum due to alimony. He received alimony for a little bit after the divorce. as well as claims she watched her son sleep with knives in her hand. He suggests that she snogged a female dancer while he refused to join the throuple. Come on, sure you did. While Britney has slammed these allegations and conduct as gaslighting, the slew of scandals continue to roll on. He has now suggested the mom of two punched their youngest in the face. Kevin also wrote how she allegedly bleached their scalps without his consent and asked eldest Preston to bathe with her. Without her consent, did that need to be added in there? Like, oh, he didn't ask my permission first, because maybe I would have said, yeah, what? He bleached their scalps without her consent? Maybe it's just thrown in there, but like he didn't know. She didn't, I don't know. He didn't ask. I don't know. He suggested the kids had filmed some incidents on their mobile phones. In another shock allegation, which followed Preston's holiday with his girlfriend, he claimed she replied with words. Her response was chilling. She told him she wished he, his brother, and me were all dead. The Sun has gone to Britney's rep for comment. Earlier this week, Britney clapped back at what she dubbed exhausting claims from her former partner. Hey, JC. I see you. Kevin and Britney got married in September 2004, just 5 months after they met. Da, 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 da. In the text post written in the back font, white the gas. Okay. In the text post written in black font on a white background, she wrote, "The constant gaslighting from my ex-husband is extremely hurtful. Relationships with teenage boys is complex. I have felt demoralized by the situation, and I have asked and almost begged for them to be a part of my life. Sadly, they have always witnessed the lack of respect shown by their own father for me. They need to take responsibility for themselves. With one son only seeing me for 45 minutes in the past 5 years, and the other with only 4 visits in the past 5 years, I have pride too. From now on, I will let them know when I'm available. Trust me. Those white lies in that book, they're going straight to the bank, and I am the only one who genuinely gets hurt." Britney was seen reuniting with her rarely seen son Jaden back in June, with a picture showing the teen towering over her. The U.S. chart star then wrapped her emotional message up with the words, "I will always love them. And if you really know me, you won't pay attention to the tabloids of my mental health and drinking. I'm actually a pretty intelligent woman who has been trying to live a sacred and private life for the past 5 years. I speak on this because I've had enough, and any real woman would do the same." In an interview, Kevin previously revealed he has kept his distance. They haven't spoken in years. However, in the book, the DJ also revealed some of Britney's alarming behaviors, which he learned mainly from the kids. They would awaken sometimes at night to find her standing silently in the doorway, watching them sleep. "Oh, you're awake?" with a knife in her hand. Then she turned around and pad off without explanation. He also suggested she drank during pregnancy and used Coca-Cola while breastfeeding. Additionally, he has alleged the chart star might die without intervention. Meanwhile, the lucky songstress backup dancer has broke her silence on the allegations the pair enjoyed a steamy. Okay, well, you're not getting it. I don't care what she does. If she sleeps with her backup dancer, I don't care. In a statement by Britney's representative, once again, Kevin and others are profiting off of her, and sadly, it comes after child support has ended. All she cares about are her kids and their well-being during this sensationalism. In 2023, Jaden and Sean moved to Hawaii with their dad and his new wife, Victoria Prince, and their 2 half-sisters. Okay, hold on. Cassie, I did this kind of late. We're gonna have to get on TikTok and talk about this though. Okay, so hold up. Hasn't Kevin been with Victoria for a long time? Did they just get married or something? Because I feel like they've been together for a minute. All right, we're gonna jump over to her Instagram really quickly. Okay. Hey, that's fine. All right, so she had to turn the comments off. I mean, she literally had to turn the comments off on her page because, yeah. All right, so she responded to one of the allegations. Oh no, Cassie. Okay, so this is her response to some of the allegations. "To be loved unconditionally and with a naive heart like mine, always being threatened or made to believe I'm the bad one as a profit off my pain. Oh, dear Jesus, show me there is a God and I can too be loved unconditionally and not have to be so perfect, because it's really interesting. I 100% beg to differ the way he is literally attacking me in his interviews. If truth be told, the man in the interview went straight to the source and said it clear as day. No money from Britney for 5 years. You trying to get paid. That's what General America is saying. Weird you both have moved on. Your kids are adults. It's a different world now. Why is he so angry? And what's scary is he's convincing. It literally blows my mind the moments he stops before he cries. Are you effing serious? I know his book will sell loads more than mine. If you really love someone, then you don't help them by humiliating them. What scared me is how serious and angry he got. People have no idea. It is way worse than anyone could imagine. The boy hates me, and it is deep anger to literally say the things he is saying. As my mother cleverly says, oh, you're angry? We just love you so much and wish you were here. I'm like, what? You called me one time in 6 years, and why didn't you invite me to my son's B-Day in Louisiana in my home for 2 weeks? They get entitled with special secrets as they treat me exactly the way my father used to. Yes, they secretly love to cast me out and make me feel completely isolated. So in resolution, guess what I did, my friends? I bought myself a miniature greenhouse made of glass. It is beautiful stained glass picture above the door. It is a mini house of healing. I do need healing, and I'm starting tomorrow on it. Nope, not growing weed, lavender, rosemary, eucalyptus, and miniature shelves. Freeze your favorite flowers in the refrigerator. I'm serious. The smell stays potent, rich, and strong. Gardenias are unbelievable. Sage, peppermint, chamomile, tea tree. There's so many. I'm going to get real dirty in there with all the dirt, but I don't care. I'm honestly liberated and so damn blessed it arrived. There are many things to do to heal. I feel like just general contact and communication with people. My birthday wish is not to fly anywhere this year. I want to have coffee, lunch, or dinner with Michelle Pfeiffer and Paris Jackson. It is important to look up to people and still believe in humanity, and there are extremely cool, beautiful people here. My kids have shown me as Saint Mother Teresa for 15 years was the sister. I'm the daughter, you're the parent. Get it straight, teacher. Can I come to your class, Mama? I have my schoolgirl outfit on. Let's go shopping first thing. My kids have known me as Saint Mother Teresa for 15 years. Mom was the sister. I'm the daughter, you're the parent. Get it straight, teacher. Can I come to your class, Mama? I have my schoolgirl outfit on. Let's go shopping first thing. A picture of a guy. I don't know his name, but his picture has been in my room for 10 years. I like the way he looks. On a lighter note, remember dreams? My personal family has always done a wonderful job at nightmares. Let's just say I've gotten a little more intelligent than I used to be. I take up for myself and let myself. With that said, Be Tiny is coming soon. Be Tiny. There's also a small surprise that will follow up just 2 months after Be Tiny. Let's just say an extremely wicked perfume, not like any bottle ever sold. It's a tiny oil referenced by the Sherlock Holmes age and period that's extremely tiny that women used in their pockets to poison men. This, of course, is not poison. It's extremely different oil scent, yet incredibly small. Sorry, you might have to buy 20 of them, yet pretty expensive. The name is yet to be determined. Me and my grandfather never spoke much, but this was the last thing he said to me before he died. He said, promise me one thing. People will talk and talk, and he said the world can be a very cruel place. He said, promise me you won't care what these ignorant people say and lie about you. He said, you stay fearless. That's in your blood, to be fearless. Don't become crippled and scared and a person explaining yourself so you give them the entitlement to make you less than them. When people really understand the power of your name alone, people will test you and do absolutely anything to pull you down. Now I understand why he said that. He said, look up, my dear child. I will tell you exactly what to do. Is that my real bed? Nah, just kidding. My back, my blades, my wings. Remember the movie Maleficent? Such an incredible movie. Remember the king tried to kill her, but instead a guy secretly took her wings. But anything from the Father in heaven, the real Father, whom is the one I only claim, who loves unconditionally, anything holy is never forgotten. Her wings were holy, so the king couldn't take them. Not one person could say they were restored and hidden, locked in a secret, holy stained glass church. Not that this has any relevance with me. I'm glad she understands that. But I do find it incredibly interesting. I had a traumatic experience, as some of you know, at the end of my book, where for 4 months I no longer had my private door and illegally was forced to not use my feet or body to go anywhere. For a person like me who understands the sacredness is Godspeed, it did more than hurt my body. Trust me, there is a lot I didn't share in my book and still thinks at this very moment I've kept hidden because it's incredibly painful and sad. I do feel the logic and mindfulness in my body as one was 100% murdered and destroyed. I can't dance or move for 5 months. Anyways, I know my post and dancing seems silly, but it made me remember how to fly. I used to swim with my babies on my back till they were 4 or 5. I was incredibly strong. At the end of the movie, she goes to a church and somehow finds her wings. Protector of the Moors, consider a villain, but actually one with Mother Nature. Animals would bow to her. She was brilliant in that movie. I do feel like my wings were taken away and brain damage happened to me along the way 100%. I have, of course, moved on from that troubling time in my life. I'm blessed to be alive. I'm showing my back. One makeup artist said, "Don't you think it's too big? People are incredibly cruel." Still to this day, I haven't flown like I used to. Do you think if I go to the Vatican, I might find something quite interesting there? It's fun to tell stories at this point because this all might sound so silly, but with what garbage literally is being said about me, I said, why not bring substance to the table? Okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, if I had children with Britney and she danced like this and post things like this, I don't think I feel comfortable, sending my child to her house. However, I couldn't imagine writing a book about any of my loved ones struggling that bad because how's it going to help her mental health? Like if Kevin really feels the need to do something when his children were still little, and he said the reason he's doing it now has nothing to do with child support, but his boys are old enough for them to understand what's going on. They're old enough for them to say, "Yeah, Dad, we want you to speak out. Yeah, Dad, do it." And understand what's going on. But I'm like, if you really wanted to help her back when, the kids were smaller, why not go to the courts and demand a psyche eval and say, if you are deemed competent, okay, whatever, but I can completely understand why someone would be scared to send their kids here. However, writing a book, I don't know how that's going to help her mental health. It's not going to help her mental health. If anything, it's just going to make it worse. It's just going to, I feel like it would bring on a spiral. Once this book is released, could it bring on, a spiral for her to where she really struggles? And if they're waiting for the other shoe to drop, if he's constantly worried, that something's going to happen and because from where I stand, you have a family member that struggles with mental health. You're always very cautious with them. You handle them with baby gloves almost because you want to make sure they're not overstimulated, overstressed. They don't hear the negative things people are saying about them because you don't want that to lead to them spiraling and something bad happening. Because if they go to spiral and they completely have a mental break, then what could happen? Well, for years, when she was doing her residency in Las Vegas, she didn't even get the kids a lot of the times. They would go to her dad's. I remember watching a documentary where her assistant was in there trying to get this. They were all together at this big table trying to get her, her work schedule down for rehearsal, what day she'd be performing, and they said, oh, she's got to rehearse this day and this day, and her assistant said, no, those are the days she's going to get the kids. She can't work that day. She's going to have the kids that day, those 2 days. And her dad stepped in and said, I'll get the kids, put her down for rehearsal. And the guy's like, well, what do we tell Britney? She's going to want to get the kids these 2 days. She's not going to want to work and she's going to want to be with the kids. And her dad said, I'll handle that. Put her down for rehearsal. I'll keep the kids. And I'm like, dude, that's insanity. Yeah, like that's insanity. You're not going to let your child be with her kids. You're going to force her to go. Her schedule was already very rigorous, you know, where she was practicing 24/7, she was performing 24/7, and then the every other weekend where she got the kids, it's like, oh no, I'll keep the kids. She needs to rehearse and perform. It's very sad. So I can definitely understand why she is not well mentally, and she was medicated, and she was on lithium, from my understanding, and from everything that I see about lithium, it can really damage people. So yeah, you guys, but his book will be released tomorrow, so I'm sure we'll hear a lot more tomorrow coming from the book. You can kind of take it for what you want if you believe it. I definitely feel like Britney, you know, has some struggles. Clearly, if I had children with her, I'd be scared too. But I don't think I would go about it this way of writing a book that could contribute to another spiral. And what happens if she's spiraling and she goes off the deep end and, you know, something bad happens over this memoir, you know. But anyways, you guys, I gotta run to my son's football game. I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'll be back tonight. I might do a, what is tonight? Tonight's Monday. So we got to do Special Forces tonight. We're going to do Special Forces tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you go follow me over on TikTok. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up and come back and hype it up. Bye, guys.